Hello and welcome. Behavioral interview is a crucial part in the interview process for software developers. I know many developers often underestimate this, but in the current market where there are a lot of technical capable candidates, behavioral interviews can make or break your chances. I made the same mistake before, so I understand the importance of getting ready for these interviews. So in this video, I will share with you how I prepare for behavioral interviews. I hope the video can help you better prepare and land your dream jobs. So without further ado, let's dive in. Before I discuss my strategy, we need to first understand why companies conduct these interviews in the first place. Unlike technical interviews where companies want to see your technical competence, behavioral interviews are conversations with your recruiters where they are looking for some traits and values that align with the company's culture. Even if you have excellent technical skill, but you are a jerk and cannot collaborate, nobody will want to work with you. So some common values I believe they look for are self-motivation. So are you self-driven and passionate with the work you do? Conflict resolution. Are you able to handle conflict in the workplace? Perseverance. Are you able to push through difficulties and problems to succeed? So these values vary from company to company, so there's no one-size-fits-all answer to this. So what I normally do is look up the company website and read about their culture, then customize my answer based on these values. The most important thing I often prepare for my behavioral interviews are my stories. My stories show the interviewers who I am. I have worked as a software engineer before, so I have some experience in the workplace. But if you don't have that experience, don't worry. You can always use your school experience as an example. I highly encourage you to tell the truth. Don't lie just because you don't have that experience. The truth will always come out. So if they ask me a question that I never experienced before, I will answer this. I never experienced this before, but if this happened, here's how I would handle the situation. And then I provide a solution to the problem. One more thing about your stories, even though you don't lie, I don't recommend you tell everything to the interviewers. If certain part of your experience isn't that impressive, you don't have to tell them. You are not lying, you just don't tell them what isn't necessary. So use your judgments and try your best to highlight the positive sides of your experience. To keep my behavioral interview skill warm, I often practice sample questions once a week. I found a website called Interview Handbook. The author of the site is a person who recommends the Blind 75 list. So he suggested a list of common questions that tech companies often ask in their behavioral interviews. From my experience, the list is pretty accurate. I highly recommend you check it out and collect the questions. Once you have the questions, how should you practice them? I often use the STAR method. This method gives me some structure to my answers. S stands for situation. What situation did I find myself in? T stands for task. What was I required to achieve? A stands for action. What did I do to solve the problem? And R stands for result. What were the outcomes of my actions? And what did I learn from the experience? Here's an example that I use the STAR method to answer the following behavioral questions. Tell me about a time when you disagree with a co-worker on an engineering decision. Situation: when I was a software engineer intern at Redfin, I was assigned to build a strict search feature that allowed users to search for properties based on streaks. Task: at the end of the project, I was asked to implement some metrics that can track the performance of the website after I deploy my changes. I plan to implement only 3 metrics, which is the click-through rate, the time spent on page, and the number of visits per week. My mentor asked me to implement additional metrics such as the number of visits per day or the number of clicks on the page. I disagree with him on this engineering decision. Action: whenever I disagree with my coworker, I will do 2 things. First, I will listen to their opinion and I will try to understand why they are thinking this way. And secondly, I will defend my own argument. But I will do that in a very respectful and professional way. So my mentor told me that the more metrics that we implement, the more data we get from the users and the better we understand them. But from my current situation, that doesn't really make sense because I only had 3 days left until my final presentation, so I didn't want to leave anything incomplete. Moreover, some of the metrics that he recommended wasn't that relevant. So for example, the number of visits per day. Redfin is a real estate website, so people are not gonna visit it every single day. That metric is not a very good indicator of how interested users are. Result: after our discussion, we finally settled on my decision. And as a result, I was able to complete the project before the deadline. And it turns out that we don't need all of those additional metrics to track the site performance. You can see that the STAR method provides a clear structure to my answer that the interviewers can follow, from the problem I faced to the solution I came up with. I highly suggest you adopt this method to your answer. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoy it. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. That supports the channel a lot, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.